On this edition of Talking Prep, Shannon Altom joins us from Bixby, the girls' track coach. And Coach, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing today, Blair?
Doing pretty good. Now, you're one of the coaches whose team's season was cut short by this.
It was.
How difficult was that? And how long when was it between the stoppage and the actual, okay, that's it, we're done for the year?
Well, it was, we had just started our season. We were in our had gone to our second meet and went straight into spring break, and then found out over spring break that the season was ending for the year. So that was really disappointing because I had some really awesome girls this year. And um, in our first track meet, the girls took second place overall. In our second track meet, they took first overall. So it was very disappointing.
I can imagine. I would imagine that was probably a little emotional too, because you can't break that kind of news to somebody gently that, hey, your senior year, everything you've worked
Right.
for is done.
Right. I had a really good group of senior girls this year. I didn't get to tell them in person at all. So it was more of a just communicating by email and text through our school reminder of the girls saying, is it really over? So we hadn't been able to give them that news face to face. They kind of got it as I got it, and then I had to field their responses, and it was emotional.
Oh man, I can imagine. So social media, most likely, how everybody found out.
Some of it on social media. Our school pushed that out on social media, announcements on the website. We were getting it kind of the news day by day with other people, and across the state when all spring sports were canceled, we got that news. So yeah, it was kind of a same time for all of us.
Wow, how difficult? Or obviously it was difficult, but how long did it take to kind of sink in that this really is happening? Because when everybody first heard it,
Yeah,
shock and kind of hard to
yeah.
believe. But when did it finally hit home? Unfortunately.
I think it hit home for me. I was putting together the senior girls profiles and pages to share to my athletic director so they could do a virtual senior night. And as I was communicating with them, getting information from those girls to add that was emotional. I actually had a pretty emotional day that day. I won't deny there were some tears shed, probably both of our parts. And then the night that it aired, the girls were texting me, telling that they, said they burst into tears in the middle of their virtual senior night. So I think that is when it really hit home for my senior girls. I had 4 to 6 of these girls that I've coached them since well through their whole high school years, and this was going to be our season. I had every reason to believe that I would be taking those girls to the state um, track championship this year because I had taken them, some of them last year, and we were already surpassing what they had achieved last year in their track times and goals. So it it was a hard hit to the
I,
team.
I can imagine. So, how have you filled the time? Because the next track season won't start until, a year from now. So, wow, what do you do?
Yeah,
Now you have all this free time, unfortunately.
exactly. Yeah. Fortunately and unfortunately, right? And so when our school went to distance learning, I didn't want to leave out the track athletes, but we couldn't hold any practices. We couldn't post any practice information that would have them, still in competitive mode. So Really, what I just did with those girls is I asked them to share a weekly track journal with me and update me on what they were doing um, to keep physically active, but also to maintain their emotional and mental health. And so, in some of those journals, I was able to respond to some of them, and we talked about how, in a time like this, that even though they couldn't run for competition, that they could run to just keep and maintain a healthy mindset. And I think it helped. I know it helped some of the girls to get through there. I had a mom text me one day that two of the girls from our track team, they're super close, were meeting at La Fortune, and they were going to run a little distance apart, keep their distance, but they were going to run a half marathon that day just because. So I think it was important to just push more of the mental aspects of running and how it can really help you keep a healthy mindset.
Yeah, so we've talked about the seniors. What about the juniors and
Mm-hmm.
sophomores and the freshmen to be for next year? I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
can't just spring it on them. How do you keep them
No,
involved and active
right.
at this time? Because it'll be here before you know it.
Oh yeah. Right now, a lot of the summer clinic programs that we get to do we're not going to be able to have those. So I just kind of keep in touch to let the girls know I'd like to keep them, to keep running and encourage them to keep running and send out messages periodically throughout the summer. Maybe just some good workout ideas to keep them in shape. And then, luckily we start back in our off season. So when we start back in August and September, and hopefully get to stay in school, and we'll be able to get in shape before the season comes around again. So I think just encouragement, and then hit it hard when we get back to school.
Yeah, one thing that is important right now, I mean, everybody is
Mhm.
isolated, but still, it's very
Yeah.
important to stay active and try to
Hmm.
get some physical activity in because
Hmm.
you don't want to be home looking at walls all day.
No, no, that gets old pretty quick. I even have, I have a treadmill at home, but I'm not one that can run and stare at the wall. I have to be out covering distance and moving. A few of the girls have expressed an interest in maybe taking some just training, just some endurance runs together over the summer. So I'm willing to meet up with them. And, I don't keep up with the girls any longer, but, as long as I can keep them in sight and run somewhere at a safe distance behind them,
Yeah,
it's
I, go ahead. I
sorry, go
had
ahead.
no, I had a question and it slipped out of my
Okay.
mind. Oh, being a track coach,
Hmm.
how did that evolve? Because that's
Hmm.
not. I mean, everybody wants to coach basketball, football, whatever, but you don't hear too many people say,
Right.
"I want to coach track." So, how did you get involved in coaching
Right.
track?
Well, I actually, I first was just teaching at Bixby, and I teach high school English and one of the AP subjects. And then they approached me and said, they needed another track coach. And with it being a co-ed sport, we didn't currently have a female coach. So I have a bit of a history of running, not competitively really, but I just fell in love with running in my adult years, and trained and ran marathons for a while, and until raising children became my new marathon. And so it just kind of evolved from there because I've always really enjoyed running long distance and endurance. And I've seen the benefits of what that sport's done for me individually. It appealed to me to coach track. I don't think I could coach any other sport other than track, just because I have a personal passion for that.
And there's more to it because I know a lot of people think, oh yeah, it's real simple. You just tell the kids constantly just run,
Yeah.
turn left. But there's a lot more
Right.
to it, and I would think too, there's probably even more to it in the mental aspect than in other sports because you're in a sense competing against yourself just as much as you're competing against competition, right?
Yeah. We have a lot of conversations. I talk with the girls as a group and a lot of one-on-one conversations about the mental aspects of the sport because, the skill can be there, but if you don't have that resolve inside, to really compete against yourself, to really work hard, and to accept a certain amount of pain. Um, it's not a contact sport. You're not waiting for someone else to inflict pain. You are the one inflicting pain on yourself, and that's a lot harder to push yourself to keep going when you're the one that can stop the pain, and you have to push through that.
If someone's watching this in Bixby
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
is thinking, hey, I might want to try that, what do they need to do?
Uh, they need to lace up some shoes and get out there and try it out for a bit and see. Um, they just need to get out and practice a little and start slow. Be kind to yourself. I'm always telling my athletes, you've got to keep reminding yourself that I'm going to do the best I can do today and tomorrow. I'm going to do the best I can tomorrow. You're going to have good days and bad days. Um, the first time that I started running was I had moved back from Colorado and I was in a rural area in Oklahoma. I didn't have a lot of access to gyms. So I decided to start training for a marathon. I'd gotten one of those cards in the mail from the American Leukemia Society. So I thought, great, good cause, some good outcomes for me. And, I had to take it step by step and realize that what I can do this week is it's a process that you have to take that process step by step and realize that you are just as capable. You got to set your goal high, but give yourself the time to get there. So anybody watching wants to try it. Um, you do not have to be a star athlete. That's what I love about running. You don't, but you do have to have a drive, an inner drive.
No doubt about it. Well, we have a challenge for you. Would you like to play our quick quiz?
Okay,
All right, here
I
we
will do
go.
it. All right, here we go.
First place you'll take the family is to either get a haircut or out to eat.
Blair, you see this short hair? It does not grow slowly. So, haircut, definitely.
I am with you there. Can you play a musical instrument?
Um, I think I just haven't quite decided and how to narrow it down yet. I'd like to play the guitar, but I cannot currently play it. I'm thinking maybe I'll start out with a smaller version or something with the ukulele.
Oh, okay.
Check back with.
Yeah, there's plenty of lessons on YouTube. I'm finding that out
Yeah.
during the quarantine. If you were going to grill tonight, which would you be more likely to grill, beef, chicken, or pork?
Oh goodness. Well, with the threat of rain, I'm probably not grilling tonight, but I'd probably choose chicken. However, I love an awesome steak, and recently I've been cooking them inside after getting some advice from a friend in the restaurant business, and they're awesome.
Oh, really? Is there a secret to that?
Apparently there is. You need a pretty thick steak, pan sear it on both sides a few minutes, throw it into a preheated oven that's already at 450, pretty high,
Hmm.
and then only cook it for about 7 to 8 minutes in the oven. And in about 15 minutes, you have an amazing steak. I'm not lying. It's
Awesome.
great.
I'll try that this weekend. Last movie you saw at a theater?
Oh, okay. They've been shut down for a while. So normally I don't go very often, but I do remember in December that the movie 1917 came out, and
Oh,
I am a fan of war genre in both books and movies, so we went to see it.
excellent. And finally, which has more time been spent doing, cleaning the garage or yard work at your home?
If you saw my garage and yard work, you would know it's definitely the yard. I can put the door down on the garage and keep that fairly hidden, but the yard, I've been doing a lot of therapeutic gardening this spring.
That seems to be the norm. Everybody's
Yeah.
spending time working in the yard and the garage. Well, that's just gonna wait maybe for the second outbreak or something. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, exactly.
well, Shannon, thank you so much for the time. I enjoyed it, and hopefully next time we talk, we'll be able to talk about the upcoming track season and what's up next for the Bixby Spartans.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you, and have a great
Thank you
day.
so much, Blair. You too. Bye.
Bye.